Good afternoon, all. I'm back in my shop here with my 1985 Mercedes-Benz 380 SE. You may have seen from my prior videos that I was having a warm start problem. Um, you would, and this is how it would work. You jump in your car, start it up, starts perfectly fine cold. You drive maybe 10 miles up to the grocery store, park in the parking lot, engine's up to temperature, you shut it off. Go inside, do 5 minutes worth of quick shopping, come back out and get in the car and turn the key, and it would just turn over but not fire. It would not start. It would just go, then shut it off. Turn it back on. It would start, but it would chug and would kind of be smelling very rich. So I have been chasing this now for a while, and I have finally solved it. You may recall in a previous video I had that I replaced the accumulator. The accumulator is a fuel accumulator that sits up under the back of the car, right at the top of the fuel pump assembly. You've got a fuel pump, then you have a fuel filter, and then the accumulator. I cheaped out. I bought a URO brand accumulator, put that in there, and it helped a little bit, but it still did not really help after driving and then a hot, warm start. So I have been searching and reading and watching videos, and people have said, well, don't use a Euro accumulator. You must use a Bosch accumulator. So yes, I did waste $100 by buying a Euro accumulator, which did nothing. So I bought a brand new Bosch accumulator. I installed that, and it was a little bit better, but still not right. I was still having issues with warm starts. When it did start, it would chug like it was super rich or like it was starving for fuel. So I decided, well, let me get out the official Mercedes-Benz service manual V8 engine. And the next place I decided to do and start was buying a fuel pressure measuring kit with a gauge and hoses and everything from Mercedes Source. And Kent has got a fantastic kit. I installed it. It was very easy to do. I followed his video directions, and sure enough, I had a problem. I had good pressure. These are my instructions that I wrote down. I had great fuel system pressure. I had 5.2 bar, hot or cold. My control pressure was not the greatest. Something was wrong. And also my cold control pressure was not right. And then shop test. After you turn the car off, you're supposed to still have 2.5 bar of pressure in your fuel lines for internal leaks. This is a leak down test. The minute I would turn the key off, it would go to 0. So I took off the warm-up regulator and took it apart and bought a kit from Germany to rebuild the warm-up regulator. When I opened up my warm-up regulator, it was a nightmare in there. The gaskets were gone. There was rust in there. There was the screen, which in this line right here coming in, there is a screen back here. It was all filthy and dirty and rusty. So I bought a kit from Germany. And the website, and I am going to give you this because this guy is fantastic, okay? It's called Missing Parts, www.missingparts.de. And he is a repair service and spare parts person. This is his business card. He is in Germany. I bought his kit to rebuild the warm-up regulator. He also gave explicit instructions. I highly recommend getting this. With shipping, it was a little over $100 to rebuild this. But when I did that, my system pressure was perfect. My control pressure at warm and at cold were perfect. But when I turned the car off for the leak down test, it would hold pressure for about 8 to 9 minutes, and then it would slowly go to 0. So the next thing I decided to check is my cold start valve leaking. I disconnected the cold start valve, and when the engine was warm, I turned the car on and let it idle. And of course, when the engine's warm and you're starting it, there will be no fuel coming out of your cold start valve. And no fuel came out. And when I shut the engine off, there were no drops coming from it, so that was not leaking. So that eliminated that. Then I was thinking, well, what else can it be? Probably injectors. But I came upon some instructions in the actual Mercedes-Benz service manual that states reconditioning your system pressure regulator and pressure compensating valve. This right here is your pressure regulator. It bolts right into the back of the fuel distributor. And as you can see by all the little numbers here, you've got a spring, you have this device, you have an O-ring at 1A, you have an O-ring at number 8, and you have a copper gasket at number 9. So I said, well, before I take out injectors, this is super simple to take apart and look at. And there is another picture of it right here. And you know what? O-ring number 1 actually was broken. It was in pieces and crumbling. And do you know what that one does? It controls the amount of fuel going back to your fuel tank after you shut your car off when it's warm. So it was leaking down and the fuel was going back to the tank. And then when you tried to start it, you had to build pressure back up again to be able to get fuel up into the injectors. So I'm going to pause right now because I have to go to another site to show you of where I found the kit to rebuild this pressure regulator right there. Okay, I'm back. As I was showing you on these pictures here, okay, number 1, that number 1 item there is an O-ring. It is a very special O-ring. No O-rings that I had anywhere could match it. And this is the O-ring right here. As you can see, it is broken. There you go. This little O-ring is what was causing all of my problems, okay? I found a person in Australia. It's called Jet Specialists, and there is his website. And this is the system pressure valve seal kit. And with shipping in American dollars, I'm talking probably about maybe $30 I spent on this. It came in an envelope. It took 3 weeks to get here from Australia. And when I opened it up, I said, uh-oh, this envelope's empty. But this is the whole thing that he sent, which this is my old copper O-ring. This is my old O-ring, which is number 8. And number 9 is the copper O-ring. And number 1 is the most important O-ring, that one right there, which is broken. And it took literally 5 minutes for me to unscrew that from the back of the fuel distributor, put it in, and start the car. My car is warm now. And here we go. That is not bad whatsoever. It never did this before. I really do think I also have some dirty injectors, but I've put some Berryman B12 in the tank and we're gonna run that through. But she runs beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. It never was starting like that before. Okay, here we go. Car has warmed up. It's been sitting for about 5 to 6 minutes. Before, it would never start. Wow. Am I impressed. One little O-ring on the pressure system regulator is all that caused all of this. And it had me stumped. But I'm hoping this helps someone when you are trying to figure out the warm start problem, because this is fantastic. Turn it off, back on. I could not be happier. I think it's solved. So, 3 things wrong. Bad accumulator, terribly dirty and clogged up warm-up regulator, and a broken O-ring seal on the pressure regulator. Hope this helps somebody. Bye.